Okay, let's go, ladies and gentlemen of the SAEM community. We are back for more Not the Same 2023 benefiting Extra Life. We're going to be getting right into our next run now, which will be Ninja New Game Plus, all levels being run by Hokkanuilu. Let's get into it.
And yeah, we are live. Hello, I'm Hokka, and this is iNinja. It's a game from pretty much exactly 20 years ago, and I'm going to be speedrunning it. The run is called New Game Plus All Levels, and what it actually means in practice is that I'm on a completed file. Like I can even show my progress screen right here. Everything is completed, and I'm gonna play the game from start to finish while playing every level that there is in the game. Now, timer is going to start whenever I enter the first stage here. So if you're ready, I'm gonna count us down from 3 and we can just get going. So 3, 2, 1, go. So, iNinja, it begins with a tutorial stage. The game is telling us how to fight, and I have missed the first jump already. Awesome. So we are getting told how to fight, told how to jump, all this sort of stuff. We can run up these walls. That's awesome. We can run on this wall. That's also awesome. But it's honestly not too interesting to do. So instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clip out of bounds, take a left turn here, and then yeah. So welcome to iNinja, everyone. This is pretty much what this game is all about. So like you can just fly anywhere as long as you're out of bounds. So I need to be careful here. Like I must not go too far to the right while flying, because if I do, there's a chance that I won't hit a loading trigger. And these are sort of the main themes of this game as a speedrun. You go out of bounds in whatever way you can, then you fly wherever you want, and you have to keep in mind that you need to hit certain triggers while you are. And this level has this sort of bowling minigame at the end. It's not really too bad. The controls are they're fine, but the sort of geometry has some quirks about it. It's not going to be like super consistent every time, and or like it's kind of chaotic in a way where if you take a slightly different path you can get a way different bounces off of the walls and whatnot. But yeah, all in all, that's the first stage. It's a pretty good showcase of the game already. Now, next up, we are going to head to the second level of the game. It's called Heart Attack, and it's, in my opinion, it's probably one of the hardest levels in the entire game. At least if you are going for every single trick that exists. I will not go for everything. Not in marathon. Not at all. And anyway, this stage introduces us to stealth mechanics here. So there's these guards which I will have to avoid. It's not too difficult to do. Like at least in this level they only bought the guards like at the beginning here. I'm not gonna get this cover here. That's fine. Need to climb up. And that's all of the stealth for now. Then we have that door is closed, so I will have to go and open it. And now the game tries to trap me inside this small room with a bunch of enemies. But that's not really a problem. I can do this, and I can fly right through the wall. That's not even like a cliff out. The wall just doesn't exist when you go high enough. So next up we have this sort of cylinder, which we will need to climb up. And what I'm meant to do here is to make a giant circle all around the platforms. But actually that's not gonna work. Well, I will just back it up here. If I can get it, I need to go slightly higher. I am. Okay, this is going spectacular. So I will do this again. So, yeah, these. Yeah, that's not a hard trick at all, by the way. I'm just making stupid errors here. But it's okay. Everything's fine. Only a tiny bit of an oops here. Let's put it that way. Anyway, now we are heading on towards the second sort of ball rolling minigame. And the one in this level is the hardest one in this run. And I need to free the ball itself by hitting the switch back there. And then we will start getting into it. Now, this next section, it has quite a bit of stuff that I can do. And there's going to be some moving platforms which are on local cycles. And there's going to be a narrow path which I can rust through if I'm feeling brave. Let's just say that. And yeah, here's the first part. I am not feeling quite brave today, so I'm going to take it a bit easy here. And next up we are approaching the moving platforms. There is a way in which I can skip a cycle here. I'm not going to go for it. I'm not feeling confident right now. So what I could do here is I could sort of carry all my speed onto the next platform. However, you can't just go at full speed, because if you do, you will overshoot the platform. So you would have to slow down just enough, but not too much. Because if you slow down too much, you would just fall. And if you miss that, you will lose a lot of time because of where the respawn points in this stage are. Next up, what I did was wait at the right position on the sort of platform, which means that I will get a good cycle here. And that's like these cycles are local, and I sort of entered the trigger which starts the cycle at the right time. Now we are in the green room, which is what we call this room. The iNinja speedrun community has some very creative naming going on. This room is called the green room because there's green stuff in it. And I have fallen down in the green room. This is not something that should happen ever, but anyway. Moving on. This room, there is actually a way in which you can skip this entire room. It's like you get a lot of speed and bounce off of one of these corners in the narrow path, and you can make it all the way into this gap. But that's I have done it in a tool-assisted setting once, and it's in no way realistic to perform here. Anyway, we are moving on. I think the next stage is going to be the first boss fight we have. Yeah, it is. Okay. So we're gonna swim across here and enter this giant robot, which has just been sitting here. So
Got anything
so
tougher?
here's a fun story. When I was speed rushing this game for the marathon game, I was losing 20 seconds to this boss every time.
Online.
And I was wondering what I
Demo.
was doing wrong because I couldn't tell. But it turns out the cutscene, which I just skipped at the start, has two parts, and I was forgetting to skip the second one. That's the kind of level of skill.
Round 1.
Anyway,
Fight.
the boss here is very simple. I will just beat him up. And whenever I hit him, I get laser charge, and I can do this. And also, I'm going to pause and unpause repeatedly. That's because there's a slow motion effect whenever you knock him down. And you can sort of cancel the slow-mo effect
Round 2.
by pausing and unpausing repeatedly. It's weird. I have no idea how anyone would ever find that, but it certainly exists. Then we got the second laser, and now I'm going to pause and unpause to cancel the slow motion effect once again. And these rockets here, when I punch them, I will get laser charge, which is why I am punching them.
Round 3.
I could also
Fight.
avoid them, which would give me multiplier. But since I am speedrunning and not score attacking, I do not care about score multiplier. Now we are getting to the final phase, the final round of this boss fight. After the rockets have come here, and the final round is supposed to be the hardest, and that's because this is going to...
Malfunction. Defense system deactivated.
I will lose my hints as to where he is going to
Round
punch,
4.
so I will actually have to
Fight.
read his arm movements here. I'm just gonna laser him to the end.
KO.
The laser at the end might not be
Perfect.
might not have been the fastest way to beat him there, because he was at such low health that I did not need the entire laser to defeat him. But that's not really a big deal at all. So yeah, first boss done. Then there's only one more stage left in the first hub area. It's this one called Eye to Eye. The sort of lore reason in these stages is that we are collecting the sort of body parts of the robot. And like, we go into these stages, collect like the eyes of the robot, which are able to shoot the laser, which we used in the boss fight. So anyway, first I'm gonna do a tiny skip there, skip a bit of movement. Then I'm gonna carry my momentum to skip a fight, and now I'm gonna get caught on purpose. I need to get caught because I need to hit a loading trigger, and then I am going to start flying, and the camera follows me. That's really good. And yeah, the way this flying works is that you walk off a ledge and then try to do a mid-air attack, and I have messed it up. Awesome. Should not be talking about doing that. But anyway, whenever you do a mid-air attack, while there is no ground below you, it sort of cancels and lets you do another one. So what I'm doing is I'm repeatedly tapping my attack button at a certain rhythm. It's quite forgiving. And so it's not super hard to do at all. But there is the problem that if you miss even just one input, in your like attack chain, you will just fall, and there's no way to recover. Now this rolling section is not super difficult. It's one of the easier ones. Now, something that I can't talk about more about the hovers here. Hover is what we often call the sort of flying across empty bits. So it was found like, I want to say 2 years ago, and it completely transformed the game, like the speedrun, absolutely. Like it's pretty much a night and day difference how you play the game. And it's like when we found when it was first found, it was like the first day there was like a new massive time save posted in our Discord channel for like every 15 minutes for like several hours straight. It was amazing. Anyway, we are done with the first upworld. I'm going to take this half pipe up and travel into the second world. The next level is well, I guess you could call it an interesting one. It's definitely something that exists in this game. And shoot the ship. That's the name. And the name is very, very descriptive, so to say.
Too easy.
So what I'm going to do is enter this
Download
turret and
Wave 1.
shoot stuff that comes at me. I'm going to play this safe, and I am not going to be doing damage, right? But yeah, this is. We used to think that this is an auto-scroller. It is not. So I'm going to shoot. So there's like 4 waves
Power
of
shots.
ships which will attack me,
Power shots.
and
Power shots.
every single wave, like
Power
within
shots.
itself, is a complete auto-scroller.
Power
So
shots.
I cannot beat these ships up at all.
Rapid
However,
fire.
the last ship
Power
you destroy
shots.
in the wave
Power shots.
will immediately start the next wave. So you can speed the stage up by being as fast as you can when destroying the final
Power
ship of
shots.
each wave.
Power shots.
And it makes a pretty big difference.
Power shots.
There's also a possibility to
Rapid
take
fire.
damage on purpose. And if you do that, you are able to manipulate the drops which you get. So these power-ups.
Rapid fire.
Okay, this is
Rapid
actually,
fire. Rapid
this isn't
fire.
too good. I did not get power shots for this guy, so it's gonna be slightly slower than I would like. So there we go. So what I want to do is I want to get power shots for the big ship, which destroys it really, really quickly.
Wave complete.
And the power-ups you get are sort of random, but
Wave
also
2.
sort of not, and they are based on where there are ships, and also how high or low your health is at the time. It's I don't have a full understanding. I don't think anyone actually does as to how it actually works, but it's definitely there. And I can also get homing missiles,
Power shots.
which I can use wherever I want, but
Power
that's
shots.
kind of rare.
Power shots.
And like now you can see that when I let the ships come really close,
Power shots.
I'm going to get power shots a lot.
Rapid fire.
And I also want to...
Rapid fire.
Now I'm getting rapid fire.
Rapid
Anyway,
fire.
I don't actually have too much to
Rapid
say
fire.
here, so if there's any donations or other information which we want to say here, then now is a perfect time.
Yes, I can absolutely do so. I will take the opportunity
Rapid
to remind
fire.
people why we are here and what we are doing. We are raising money here for Extra Life and the
Rapid
Children's
fire.
Miracle Network hospitals. These donations stay with the hospitals and go
Rapid
directly
fire.
to funding critical treatments,
Homing
healthcare
missiles.
services, pediatric medical equipment, and charitable care for
Rapid
young
fire.
children who require them. It's such a good cause, and I give my heartfelt thanks to everyone who's donated so far or is
Rapid
considering donating. And even if you're just here hanging out, keeping the viewer count up, we appreciate you. It goes
Wave
so much further than
complete.
you could know. With that, though, back to the run.
Alright, thank you.
Wave 3.
So now I actually got homing missiles. That's kind of rare. I don't usually get them, and I don't really have a good plan as to when I'm going to use them. I think I'm going to save them for final wave.
Armor.
And I also did take damage, so I have a chance to get health pickups, armor as this getting closer. And
Power shot.
armor is the worst power up that you can get, basically. It does absolutely nothing. The amount of health that you get from it is really low. And there's just
Power
not much
shot.
which you can do.
Power shot.
Something which I can talk about is the category itself. So
Power shots.
the idea behind this category is that any percent, like from a fresh file in this game, is really long. Like surprisingly long. Like
Power shot.
well over 2 hours. Well, nowadays it's like 2 hours and 10 minutes
Power
or something.
shots.
It's like,
Rapid fire.
it's changed quite a bit as well. But the game, when you start from a new file, the game forces you to do all sorts of extra things. There's extra missions, there's collecting money to buy things, and all sorts of that sort of stuff. And this category, what it does is it
Rapid
gets
fire.
rid of all of the extra. So you end up with a
Rapid fire.
really way more straightforward, just run to the end kind of speed. And it's also way shorter. So it's more like marathon friendly in that way. It's really good thing to have. I haven't actually done an 80% running in like over 2 years.
Wave complete.
So yeah.
Wave
Like it's a
4.
really cool category. There's like a lot of cool routing options which do not exist here, but it's just kind of long and you have to actually pay attention instead of just autopiloting throughout the game. Anyway, here's the final wave. We have this sort of airship which we have how to destroy. I'm going to use my homing missiles for it.
Invulnerability.
I'm not sure they actually did anything. Wow. And also I'm getting bad luck with the power-ups. So it's just hit the guy. There we go, that's rapid fire. Now rapid fire is the best power-up that I can get
Rapid
here.
fire.
Like power shots, if you want to get power shots in this wave, you would need to have tanked your health down to almost 0 beforehand. And I did not do that because I do not feel like dying at this stage. And I'm trying to get power-ups. You know what, I'm just gonna sit here and shoot him normally. That doesn't take too long. Just so we can get out of here. This is one of those stages that a lot of runners just really don't like. Just because it's really long and there isn't that much going on. But interestingly, it's a surprisingly large time variance. Like it's really easy to just throw a minute in that stage to seemingly nothing. It's crazy. Like something like when we are talking about split time, like my best split time, including traveling the hub, is 7 minutes and like 20 seconds in shooter ships. And that's like 40 seconds faster than what I get on average. So it's really interesting. But now we get to one of my favorites. It's the barrel stage. So what we are going to do is we are going to do that apparently. Apparently I cannot steal. Anyway, now that I have made a big mistake here, I'm going to go for that, and I'm going to miss it again. Awesome. Yes, I'm not going to go for the so-called swag corner. You can cut the corner, by the way. This time I'm going to take a way wider line. The flame hitboxes don't actually extend that far, so I can just hug the wall and just go. That's really fun. But these ones in this tunnel actually do extend all the way, so I cannot just barge through, as they say. Then there's a bunch of enemies which are kind of annoying, but they can hit my barrel and they can hit the sort of gunpowder trail which comes out of this barrel. Then I'm going to play it safe here, wait for the cycle, and there we go. That sort of fall off of the edge, it skips this entire room, and it's kind of a big deal in terms of time. It's not like super difficult to do, but it's always kind of scary, because if you miss it, you have to do the entire stage again. Next up, we are going to go to the rocket factory. This is
Too easy.
one of the sort of crazier stages. Like normally this is like a really long combat-oriented stage where you do all sorts of battles. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip out through this wall. There we go. And fly. Now I'm gonna turn right. There's, like, you can see all of the stuff above me. That's like all combat sequences, and I don't want to be doing those. So now I'm going to go left, and slightly more left, and now I'm gonna wait in place. And there, the stage, I had hit the loading trigger right out of bounds, so I could then, and I was like inside the stage when it loaded. Now that's the first like actual combat that I did in this run, by the way. And I'm gonna open this gate, and I jump onto this conveyor belt, so just so I can slightly move during the cutscene. Then I made that cycle very nice indeed. I'm gonna climb up and take the rail across here. Hold on. Like this whole area is just kind of scuffed in terms of like geometry, so it's really easy to miss that rail in particular. Then I need to wait here so that this claw will pick me up and carry me over. This segment, there really isn't any way to skip it. And I think that's kind of weird, actually. Like, you would think that you could skip this technique, but I guess not. Anyway. Now we are getting to the sort of narrow tunnel. This is a really straightforward section. There's some enemies which we can just jump over, like so. And there's fire which we can also jump over or just tank it to our face. Like, since I'm on a completed file, I have every single health upgrade, so taking damage really isn't a big deal. Then in this room we have another skip coming up. Oh, that's the wrong chain. These chains, they, like, at that point it's really easy to like accidentally use the wrong one. So I'm gonna go this far about, and then I'm gonna jump across the corner. That's very important. And then I'm gonna use the chain to go out of bounds and land here. And there we go. That skips one combat sequence. That's not like a huge deal, but it's pretty cool anyway. And I had to go like further forward in the stage before I clicked out. And that's because there's a loading trigger that's there. And if I did not hit that loading trigger, this entire area would not exist at all. I'm gonna kill the turret guy, because he's gonna shoot at me while I stand on this rocket. And that's the stage. Rocket Factory is one of the coolest stages in my opinion. It's also like a fan favorite as far as I know. Like many people who play this game also really like the stage. Next up we have the absolute worst speedrunning boss that I know of anywhere. We have the fish guy. Ventis is what his name is, and we will skip cutscenes here. Not activate the tutorial and start shooting. Now this guy, first of all he has random attack, and he has a weak point inside his mouth, which means that I will have to hope that he opens his mouth. Like some attack patterns, he will open his mouth, and some like this one do not have. And then we also have random power-up, like Power Shot here. Power Shots is really good, except I did not get it on a face where he opens his mouth, so I did not get full damage. Just go. And that's Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire increases our fire rate. In fact, it makes it completely unlimited, which means that I will have to mash the attack button.
Rapid fire.
And also, another thing is that you move and you aim with the same controls. So it's really, really awkward to actually do that thing. This entire boss is just annoying. Like I don't want to fight you. Come on. And like even just the like random variance in that stage is insane long. Like the split is like 2 minutes on average, but you can get it done like 1 minute and 20 seconds if you get the absolute perfect combination of power up and
Stay
attack.
here and try not to die again.
Anyway, now that we are done with some of the worst parts of the game, we are going to chase the fuse. This level is really just probably the most straightforward that there is in this game. So there's some cutscenes here. We will see that the enemy here, the so-called ranks, will light up the fuse, and we will have to reach the end before the fuse does. Now, this level is just insane in rubber band, so it doesn't actually matter how far I go, the fuse will catch up to it at a certain point anyway. But yeah, there really isn't that much going on here. I'm going to jump off of the rail and fly a little bit, just so I can preserve some of my momentum. There we go, I got up. Like that, climbing section is kind of annoying in my opinion. Then we have a small skip here, which I'm not even convinced is like certainly faster. But you can just jump across instead of using the chain, which you are normally meant to use. And now we get to the half-pipe. And the fuse is programmed to catch up to me here. There it is. And like it doesn't matter how quickly I do that beginning section at all. And now I hope I haven't missed this. I did not. But that's fine. But like this stage has an extra mission where you kill every single enemy. And even when you do that extra mission, you still get caught up. Like the fuse catches up to you at the exact same point. It's just completely rubber banded. So it's not like a time trial kind of stage at all. But now, that was the last of this hub area, and we are going to go to the jungle. Now, this is where in some people's opinion, the run starts to really get going. So first of all, we are going to start flying here. So we don't have to actually swim across. And we are going to go to the first jungle stage, Puzzle. Now this stage, there's this tree and a bug that's sucking on the tree. We have to destroy the bug. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into this corner, and this guy's gonna try to follow me. And now, actually that's not good enough. This should work. Yeah. So now the enemy has pushed me out of bounds. Now okay, that was really scary. And I have missed it. Well, you know what, I'm just gonna quit again. The water here is just in this game, water just doesn't work properly. And now of course he moved. Anyway, I do not usually have so much trouble with this. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. And of course I missed that. Okay, like I keep getting the clip like really well, but then I'm just... There we go. That wasn't so hard, was it? Now I'm gonna have to swing left here, because there's a loading trigger which I need to hit. And that will cause the next area to appear. And now there's some platform coming up. I will turn my camera, because that makes it easier. And then I'm gonna jump up here and go onto the rail. Please work. There we go. And that keeps like having to take the half fight. Now I'm going to use this cannon. Nope. So you can shoot the rockets like between the wall and the enemy, but it's quite difficult. It's really precise, and I would much rather miss it by hitting the enemy rather than hitting the wall. Now I'm gonna take this DOS as a backup, and then I can actually, oh god, this raid is just all sorts of crap. I'm gonna go up here, and I'm gonna do jump. That hopefully works. Yeah, that's one of the oldest strats in this game. Like, I'm pretty sure it's existed since 2014, at least. So, and it's surprisingly something that I'm really not confident with. So, I'm glad I got that first try, even if the flight to the end wasted quite a lot of time. Anyway, now that I'm done with the first of the jungle stages, we're going to the next one. And this next one is called Sly Ninja, and it's a stealth stage. But there's a big but here, in the form of just skipping the entire stage. So this level, like the previous one, is built in a way where the end is right next to the beginning. So I'm gonna skip the cutscene, and I'm gonna go here and start flying. I'm gonna go behind this wall, behind this wall, and sort of swing around. So this is the ending area which we see right now. And now I'm gonna go into just the right spot to trigger the cutscene, which will walk me back up here. And now we are at the dumbest spot of the entire game. I missed every shot. Awesome. Oh, I actually got. We're surprised actually. That's gonna stop there, I think. Nope. That then. Nope. Can you stop, please? Like, yeah, you just saw what happened there. So these things are on a pretty much random pattern. And that one closed. Like, these things will open and close randomly. And they will stop randomly. And I just have to hope that I get good patterns here. Also, funny thing is that the sort of capsules which I am using to shut the vents here is they don't always stop exactly on top. So like there's a chance that it will, even though it looks like it should make it into the vent, it will just roll off. It's really awesome how they do that in this game. So now that we have that stage out of the way, I did not get good RNG. Like ideally you can finish that last shooting minigame in like 2 stopping cycles, and that's something you will see in a 2-assisted run maybe. Anyway, now we have a boss fight.
Well, that's all.
And this is like the first like actually significant combat sequence, like to start with. So I will need to clear these enemies. Let's see if I can get any stacks here. No, it doesn't look like it. I'm just gonna stop doing combos again. So there's like this mechanic in this game, which I tried to go for, where the like enemies in this game, they can only be hit once with one attack of you, like one swing of your weapon. But the game can only assign the like sort of invincibility frames to one enemy at a time. So what happens is, if you hit multiple enemies with the same attack, the sort of light frames will cycle between the 2 enemies, and you will be able to hit both of them multiple times with one attack. It's really interesting. Anyway, now we have a shooting section here. We have to shoot down these ghosts. And once we have shot down enough, we will charge our special weapon, which we will then use to actually damage the bosses there. Now, take this. Now what I want to do is, while the special shot is sort of charging, I want to be able to shoot down the enemies during that, which will, if I do it well enough, I can skip cycles using it. I think I took damage. Unfortunate.
Loading.
But I did have enough shots to get 2 special shots.
Reloading.
This is actually really bad. I got hit by the electricity ball, whatever it is. And what it does is, it reverses my controls. And I'm really not used to getting hit by it.
Reloading.
Like the sort of blue, like electricity things, they are really easy to shoot down, but if you get hit by it, it's really hard. So now, this is a pretty good pattern.
Reloading.
Like, they pretty much came straight at me.
Reloading.
Like, sometimes they will take really wide corners around the entire area, and it can get really annoyingly difficult to track them.
Reloading.
And there I got 2 extras, and he's continuing this attack, which is really good.
Reloading.
Oh, and I'm getting. Oh, this is pretty good actually.
Loading.
I'm getting some pretty great patterns here. Oh, and you're also shooting this guy. Oh, this is pretty good.
Reloading.
Now I'm pretty sure he's just gonna do this sort of whatever that is, and again. That happens really often. But it's fine, it's fine. And this is the last attack wave which I do have.
Loading.
Right. And there is the boss. That's bad. There's not really too much about it. Not too much to do it. Now I am going to go to the final level of this area. And it's got one of the strategies of all time. So make sure not to fall down, because that area is a pretty hard depth
Stay
perception
here,
challenge.
try not to die again.
And now we get to this area. I'm actually going to show a bit of this cutscene, so you can see the ending in the cutscene here. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, bait this guy here into position. There we go. Come on. And there we go. Now I'm out. And now I can fly. And now I need to be careful to go far enough so I don't hit anything there. Nice. Now I'm gonna go this way for a bit. I'm gonna wait for the camera to change once more. It's gonna happen just about now. Just a bit. Oh, I guess it's not gonna happen. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. And now I can turn slightly more to the right. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this. I hope you are enjoying this, because I'm gonna be doing this for a while. There's two sort of torches in the distance. That's the cutscene area, which we saw at the beginning. And what I'm doing here is I'm just flying to a cutscene exclusive area and collecting the grade, which is what the level ending object is called, inside the cutscene area. I'm not supposed to be here at all. And as this is a cutscene exclusive area, it's sort of scuffed in many ways. So I'm going to have to go to this out of bounds area and make this jump. There we go. Like, the border doesn't exist, for example, in this area. And if you miss something there, you will have to do all of that fighting again. But yeah, that's certainly one of the skips that exists. It's kind of funny. Now, next up we are going to the second to last area of the game. The mountain gorge. And what I'm gonna do first here is I'm gonna save the game. There we go. And I'm gonna so the sort of rules for this run, like, they allow saving and loading mid-run, but not like loading staves which were made beforehand. And that's basically it. Allows us to skip having to walk back and forth in like this tunnel, for example, because this area is really long and like really big. However, you have to like make the save during the run itself, because otherwise you would have to have all sorts of extensive pre-made save file setups to get optimal times, and that's just like that would cause some accessibility problems in a way.
Tougher?
Now we have the final stealth section, the final stealth stage, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill one of the guys and bait the other one over here. And that's not quite right. That should work. No, I missed it. Okay, that's really good. Come on. Getting there, man. There we go. Okay, so now I am out of box. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly. You probably might have already guessed what I was going to do here, but that's fine. Now, here I'm going to have to go touch this, whatever this object is, because there's a loading trigger, which I need to hit, otherwise I will not be able to complete the stage. Then we have one of the harder, like, flight starts in the game. So there's an invisible wall which I need to avoid here. There we go. So basically it's kind of hard. You can't just like walk off in a straight line. Otherwise, because there's an invisible wall which will push you off. Now I have to sort of aim towards like views in the background. There's an invisible wall here. Okay, now I'm past it, good. And then I need to sort of aim at this valley here, I believe. Then I'm just gonna go a bit further right. Okay. Okay, hold on. Okay. That camera was really fun. That's not something that usually happens, but I'm really happy that I managed to like adjust to it. Anyway, then there's one last flight here. And there he is. Now I'm just going to have to take the cannon here. There's one of the guards, by the way. And the end of this stage is sort of locked inside a crystal here. And I have to use the cannon to break it. And I have pretty much just skipped all of the stealth in this entire game. There's only one more bit here. These guys are probably the most dangerous, like guards, but it's not really a big deal. Now what I'm gonna do once I'm done is I'm gonna exit to the menu. And load. And there we go. And we are going to the next stage. This is an interesting one. It's one of my personal favorites, this one. Clouding Around is what it's called. And it's got some pretty interesting stuff. So
Yeah, sure, gotta go.
So
See ya.
first, I'm gonna skip a cutscene, but then I'm going to immediately start flying, because this is just a pit underneath me, so I can just fly across it. Then fly again, this way, going here so I can trigger a loading zone. Then this rail is the most scuffed part of this entire game, in my opinion. But anyway, I'm going to get just the right amount of height of that platform, so I can go into the corner and go out. There we go. Now I need to sort of, I can see like a mini-boss in the distance there, so I need to go slightly to the right. And I should be at the stage very short. There we go. And then just land. Okay, so that skips quite a bit. Now that camera was really good. Anyway. Now, in this room, I will have to open these, or like turn on these fans in order to make it up, which is where the end of the stage. And that means I'm going to actually have to fight one of these mini-bosses. This is one of the two that I'm actually going to fight in this run. And now I just have to avoid his attack and hit him. There's really not that much I can do right now. But what you see in the bottom left corner of my screen is my rage gauge. Is that what you could call it? Well, anyway, whenever I attack or whenever I get attacked, I will gain rage. And once I have enough rage, I will be able to use special powers. Like that. The one that I used, it just doubles my attack damage, which makes it a bit faster to go through the boss fight. And now, I can jump onto the fan, and just fly all, like over the gap, and all the way to the beach. There's, like, interestingly enough, there is technically a way in which you can skip that boss fight too. However, it's actually just slower, because what you have to do is you have to first, like, do the flip that I did to go in this room, turn on the fans, and then backtrack and do the clip and the flight again, which just isn't too fast. Now we have, next up is the what should be the longest stage, and it's very much just a
Yeah,
should
whatever.
be. So this is the crystal cavern. We are going to see, like, in this middle room, there's a crystal and there's 3 different paths which we have to take. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and fly through the wall and onto this platform, hopefully. There we go. And then in this way. So I actually do have to go onto the sort of stone platform, because this is like one of the only areas in the game that actually has kill planes. And I need enough height to skip the kill planes. Now I had hit the loading zone, so I can go this way. And I can sort of cut the corner of this path. And then, there we go. Back in bounds, getting up here. There's a small combat section. And we are essentially just at the end of the path. I'll just have to defeat these guys using the. I'm just going to use the uppercut there. Anyway. Now we just have to walk through this tunnel. I'm gonna break the box, by the way. I need to do that. I need shurikens for later. And then at the end of this path, we will go back to the main room of this area. And that's... And yeah. I'm gonna kill this guy, because he's gonna be annoying if I don't. Then there's gonna be this sort of rocket helicopter guy here. I need to shoot him down. I'm gonna pick up the extra dart, just in case. And there we go, that's the first third of the stage complete. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump here and hopefully trigger this elevator. Yep, there it is. And now what I can do is I can just ride this elevator all the way up and skip the entire second third of this stage. That's awesome. And also what I can do up here is I'm gonna position myself here and shoot exactly here. And I can shoot down the target that's to my side, which gives the final third of the stage. And that's all there is to the stage. So this is probably the longest mission in the entire game, and I can just skip nearly all of it. It's pretty cool. Now that I'm done with this one, there's only the boss fight left for me to do in this area. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna jump, and I'm gonna hover, and I'm gonna skip a bunch of platforming. Then I need to climb all the way up. Like this whole area is just full of really long, like, hop movement. I need to climb up that one, and then I need to climb up this wall. And we are at the boss fight. This is the first boss fight where I'm actually just fighting normally, instead of using some sort of vehicle. So we've got two phases here. The first one is a kind of a 2D section where he will try to shoot at me while I have to collect shurikens and shoot at him. And I'm going to be taking damage. That's fine. In fact, I want to take damage because taking damage builds up rage in this game, and I want to have rage ready when the second phase starts. Now there's two more shurikens. Second here. And that's like the first part of the first phase done. I will have to dodge this laser attack. Actually, it doesn't matter if I get hit, I just take damage. It's not like it's like an insta-death or anything. Like this first phase is the slow part of this fight. I have to collect 8 shurikens for each one of these like parts of the first phase. That's some damage. Good. And I think that might be the last one. Nope, there's still one more left. It's just not spawning, I guess. There it is. I'm pretty sure the spawns here are random. Like for the where the shurikens will appear. But I haven't actually tested it out in any way. So don't take my word for that. Now I don't actually need to take any more damage because I have my rage ready, and it's not realistic to build up any of the other powers than the first one in this boss. That's 3. That's 4. Then I just need to get 4 more. I need 3 more and they have all already spawned. That's great. And this should be the final one. No, wait, that was the final one. I miscounted my shots. Anyway, now we get to the interesting stuff. So what I want to do here is I'm going to approach him and use my power. Okay, now I messed up. And, okay. So what I'm doing here is this sort of combo attack, where I'm doing this sort of slam onto the ground. And what I'm actually doing is I'm doing a glitched combo, where I am doing a slam attack and a uppercut at the same time. And what that does is it performs both attacks at the same time, and it assigns the same damage values to both of them. And the damage it does is the same as the slam attack, which is double the damage of a normal attack. So that's really useful for like some quick combat segments. Now I'm gonna quit out again, so I don't have to walk all the way back. And we are going to the final, well, technically not final, but kinda actually the final area. It's kind of confusing. There's technically 2 areas left, but the game sometimes treats them as one. But anyway, next up, Outpost Alpha. We are on the moon. Actually, this is really great, and this is one of, I want to say this is kind of one of the harder missions.
Stay here and try not to die again.
Okay, so first I'm going to have to go to the chain which exists like in this room. I'm going to jump up here onto the rail. I'm going to tank a rocket to the face, because on the rail you don't get knocked back. And then I'm gonna... Oh, that's not gonna work. That's actually really bad. I need to reorient myself. There we go. Now I'm out of bounds, and now I can start flying again. That's kind of predictable, maybe. But anyway, now I need to know this, like go this way, I will need to hit a loading trigger. There it is. I can tell that I have hit the trigger when the background changes. And then I can just fly and skip a bunch of them. Now I am going to go back in bounds here. And the reason that I know I actually go back in bounds is because this sort of downhill section gives you a lot of speed. Like, I could, technically, I could just fly all the way to the end of the stage from there. But it's A, slower, and B, way, way more difficult to do. So there's just absolutely no reason to ever go for it. Except if you want to be funny, or if you want to do a task or something. Anyway, I can avoid the enemies here, or not, I guess. It doesn't really matter. And now, here's a low gravity section, one of the 3 that exist in the game. I'm going to take it normally. I could technically also just fly like around this place, but it's actually just slower. And then this is a fight that I will actually take. So I'm going to take down the dragon and these enemies. And I'm going to save my rage. And there we go. I mean, I could technically also creep out in this room, but that's just way too difficult for me to do. Now we have the second downhill section. Let's see if I'm going to be able to preserve some more of my momentum at the bottom of the slope. And you can do that by timing a hover just right. I'm not like the best at it. It's kind of difficult to do. But let's see. I think that's too low. Yep, I need to jump over that. But that's fine. Now I can just get some speed from that slope there. There's a slight incline which you can use to get a lot of speed for some reason. And then we are going to the second low gravity room. This one I will actually just fly through. But there's stuff below me, like in the middle of the room. So I cannot actually just go across. Because if you go on top of anything while in this state, it will just end. I'm just gonna wait for a lot. And now I've made it past the invisible wall. I'm just gonna fly in that specific way, just in case I miss the loading trigger. Then there it is. I'm back in bounds, and I have skipped a battle. Then we have this battle. I'm going to go here and need to kill that spear-looking thing as quickly as I can, because that's the most annoying enemy in the entire game, in my opinion. And then the rage means that these enemies go down super quickly. And that's pretty much the stage. All I need to do is climb up and take this chain across, and the end of the stage should be just around this corner. Like, something like, you can also technically skip the last battle with one of the big hovers that I talked about by flying through the entire stage. However, that's just slower. Like, even though I have to take complete the battle, the downhill sections just give you so much speed that it doesn't matter. Then we have what is probably the hardest hit in the game coming. At least I'm pretty sure that the current world record holder, Deb, has told me that this is like his hardest trick. I might be misremembering, don't quote me on that. But yeah, so first I'm gonna have to fight these guys. There. I think there's technically a way to skip that fight too, but it's super hard. There's a trend in these outpost stages where there's a bunch of stuff that you can technically do, but isn't at all realistic in a run. And now we are getting to the second sort of actual like first like big room here, and this is where things get tricky. So what I would do is I will get some speed onto this half pipe here. Okay, that was kind of scuffed, not gonna lie. Like these enemies can be in the way, like really, really bad. So I'm pretty lucky that they weren't like a big problem. Okay? But now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this chain to get some height. I'm gonna pause buffer a lot. There we go. First try, awesome. That's actually way harder than it looks. So what you need to do is you need to get onto the like climbable wall at the right height using the chain, and then you have to sort of turn on the wall at your max height. And it's quite tight to do. And it's really easy to mess up. Like, these guys are gonna be really annoying. Okay, I'm glad I made it to that platform. But yeah, I'm surprised I got that skip first try when I messed up some of the way easier stuff. Okay. But I guess we take those. Now we have a technically skippable fight coming up here. This one. Like, I could use these enemies to creep through a wall. But I'm not going to do that because it's way too difficult for me. And also, like, when it comes to like wall clips, you also have to take into account that you have to actually have somewhere to stand on while you are out. And this area is really, really unforgiving in terms of like outbounds, ground existing. So yeah, this is another mandatory fight. There we go. It's not too bad. And then we just have one more mini boss left in the stage, and that's going to be it for Outpost Beta. That's the name of this level. And now, what I did was build up all of my rage powers. So I have like a full palette in the bottom left corner of the game field, and I'm gonna use the strongest one on this guy. He's not gonna stand a chance. I need to go for the rockets first. There we go. Now, the name of this sort of power that I'm gonna use is Eye Ninja. That's what he screams there. And what it does is it makes you invincible, and you just do a lot of damage to anything that's close to you. And that's really fast. And really easy as well. So there's no problem there. That's the last mini boss that I'm talking. So you won't be seeing any more of that. Then I'm going to go to the very end of the stage. It's right here. Or like not the stage, the gate. And the last part,
Well,
the
that's
space
all
stage.
clear to me now.
And first off, we are going to our left. There's the cryo chamber. This is an interesting one.
Stay here and try not to die
There's-
again.
There's this sort of loop, which is a one-shot kill. You absolutely cannot touch it. And I will have to destroy this thing in the middle while avoiding the insta-kill. And here, I have to, well, I don't have to, but I'm going to almost destroy all of these targets. Because whenever I fully destroy one of them, this is going to happen. And the sort of stage is actually going to start. And by
All
destroying them
personnel should
beforehand,
evacuate immediately.
I'm going to be able to skip like one cycle of
Alert.
this,
All
this
personnel should
like
evacuate immediately.
loop going up and down.
Alert. All
So, like,
personnel should evacuate
I need to
immediately.
go up here, because otherwise I would just instantly die. And now I'm gonna face this way. This is where I want to go. I'm gonna jump off the cover and destroy that one immediately. Then I can destroy this one too. And then I can destroy
Alert. All
a
personnel
third
should
one here
evacuate immediately.
and go back up. And then there's just
Alert.
one more
All
cycle
personnel
left.
should evacuate immediately.
Like these raids are really scary, by the way. Like you absolutely can fall down, and it has disastrous consequences. Let's just put it that way. Now I'm going to almost destroy that one, just so I can delay the activation of the like glue that's
Alert.
at the
All
bottom.
personnel should evacuate
And these guys are
immediately.
not really important.
Alert. All personnel should
Oh,
evacuate
that was so
immediately.
close. That's so scary. Like these enemies are, like they aren't in like consistent positions every time, and it can be really scary, like what they do, and it is like they can push you down if you aren't if you are not careful. And one last time going up here, and that's it. That's the stage. So, next up, we have the second to last level. It's called the Imperial Guard. It's a entirely combat-based level where you have to
Well,
defeat a
that's
bunch of
all clear
enemies.
to me
Like,
now.
we'll see them soon. These ones. However, this stage, well, it's really small, so the end of the stage is right here. And what I can do is I can climb up with this chain. Let's see if I can get it. Nope. Of course I didn't see it. Well, like, this isn't actually super hard to do. So I'm gonna try again. Do a couple of those, and then stop going. There we go, okay. And that's it, that's the entire stage. So, yeah, now it's just the final boss left. And the final boss, it has two phases. So, the first phase is going to be indoors, and then the second one is going to be outside.
Got anything tougher?
So, this is the boss called O-Door, like O-Door. It's pretty funny. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this combo here, and it's going to do a massive chunk of damage in 1 minute. And I can just, like, kill the first phase in 3 hits. And the reason it works like that is that this boss doesn't have, like, invincibility frames in the same way that anything else in the game has. And instead it just bounces you back once you have hit it enough times. So what I'm doing is I'm just hitting him sort of 5 times with the same attack. And the attack is the glitch combo attack, where I do extra damage anyway. So essentially what happens is I hit him with 10 regular attacks worth of damage in one shot. It's pretty funny. Now the second phase I'm going to do the same. However, this guy has more health in the second phase. So it's going to take a bit long. Also the arena is bigger, and he's going to be throwing me way further. Sometimes anyway. Now I look at my range, and I'm going to need to take 1 hit on purpose here. There we go. So that's the rage. And I can start doing double damage. And I'm going to get 1 more hit with the rage. That's a lot of damage. And time's going to be coming up whenever he goes down. It's going to be like 3 more hits, I think. So a couple more hits and we'll get ready. There. And I think 2 more. Oh, Okay, I took damage. That's not ideal. And there we go. Time. That's it for I Ninja.
Very well done indeed. Marvelous stuff. Thank you very much for bringing that for us, Hokka. If you have anyone to shout out, now would be a brilliant time to do so.
Anything to shout out. I'm gonna say shout outs to the iNinja community. We have a Discord server which, well, there aren't that many active like speedrunners of the game, but they are still really cool people. And also shout outs to speedruns, Finnish speedrunning marathon. I am wearing their shirts right now. It's a pretty cool. It's a pretty good event as well.
Fantastic. And if people want to see more of your runs, where can they see those?
Honestly, like I don't stream regularly at all, so I guess the best bet if you want to see my run specifically is to, I guess, keep an eye out for marathons with iNinja in them.
I'm sure we'll all be keeping an eye out for that. Thank you once again for bringing us that run.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, we will be back in just a few short moments with Deku SR bringing us Zapper One Wicket Cricket. It should be an exciting one. Don't go anywhere.